Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are gearing up for what should be a fun Memorial Day weekend. If you guys have any plans, hope you guys enjoy that. So week 2 of OTAs is wrapping up today here at Halas Hall. So I'm going to hand out some winners, some losers. Remember, these are voluntary workouts. If you're labeled as a winner, not a huge deal. If you're labeled as a loser, not a huge deal either. I would say even less of a huge deal for those that I'm picking losers for, because it's kind of hard to find negative stuff around teams this time of year. It's a lot of positive energy. It's best shape alive season. So keep those things in mind as I go through this list. Okay, number 1, second-year tackles, both Larry Borom and Teven Jenkins. Got a photo of Borom there, but both are winners, and here is why. It has become clear that these guys are going to get the opportunity to start until proven otherwise, until they give this coaching staff a reason to believe that they cannot start. Now, I would say offensive line more than anything in any other position during OTAs, you can't get a great measure for because there's no pads. You can watch Justin Fields make throws. You can watch receivers catch balls during OTAs and run routes and do those things. Offensive line, you can't really take that much away from it. But they've spoken highly of Larry Borom. Teven Jenkins kind of appears to be plugged in as the starting right tackle. So if that ends up being the case, you're kind of left with question marks at right guard. But it would be huge if Borom and Jenkins could fill those spots at tackle. Then your main concern is right guard. And, that's a lesser important position. I would still want to upgrade, but I think you could figure that out. So should the Bears sign someone to play right guard? Type Y for yes, type in for no, or do you think they have someone on the roster? Do you think a guy like a Zach Thomas can be that guy? Let us know down in the comments. Should the Bears sign someone to play right guard? Next up on our OTAs winners and losers as we go through week 2, Justin Fields got to be considered a winner once again, because it's just so clear to me at this point that this is his team. Why is it clear to me? Well, coaches continue to say it. Eberflus, Poles has said it, assistant coaches. You can see the chemistry he's getting with Andrew Janocko and Luke Getsy at practice with some of those clips emerging from training camp. The release is tighter. He looks better throwing the football. Matt Eberflus gushed about his deep ball accuracy this week. So far, so good. Again, with all this stuff, we're in May. We only have so much information to go off of. They're not playing against other teams. They're not tackling. They're not in pads even. So, we can only go off what we know. But what we know is that Justin Fields has taken leadership. He's taken ownership of this team. Players have talked about it. Coaches have talked about it. And he continues to get rave reviews. And I think that's a very, very positive sign and a very, very good thing. Now, if you believe in Justin Fields, what I want you to do is share this video, and here's how you can share it on Twitter and interact with me directly. So on this video, there's an icon. Click the share button. It looks just like that icon next to click share up there at the top of this list. Then select Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter, create one. Tag me at HGrahamNFL. I will retweet everyone who tags me in these shares. I will like it as well. Use the hashtag Justin Fields in that share, and then click tweet, send it out. Let's get it spread. Let's get more people watching this video, and let's support QB1. That is Justin Fields. Screenshot this, follow these steps, share the video. I'm looking for 30+ shares on today's show. Next up, Thomas Graham Jr., who we have not talked a ton about, but Adam Jahns of The Athletic talked about him and spoke with James Rowe, one of the defensive backs coaches, in his write-up with The Athletic just a couple of days ago, and reports that Graham is in the mix at nickel. He could potentially start there if he continues to impress. Now, right now, on paper, I would say Tavon Young is the starter, but he has not been working out. He's not practicing at this point as a vet. I've got Thomas Graham Jr. listed behind Gordon, but backups, it doesn't really matter where they're listed. He's working at nickel primarily right now, competing to start for the Bears at nickel. And again, we're in May. The real competition will be in training camp. But again, this is what we're going off of right now. Here's James Rowe to Adam Jahns in The athletic. He puts in the extra time. He comes up and meets with David Overstreet, another DB's coach who coaches our nickels mostly. He comes up and meets up with him every morning at 7 a.m. Very smart player. He is able to handle the workload outside and inside. He is intent on being good, and we love what we have seen from him so far. So Thomas Graham Jr., someone who is impressing this young coaching staff. And hey, you guys have been asking me about TG, Thomas Graham, where I thought he'd fit in. I've said I don't think he'll start, but I think he'll compete and make this team. Maybe he could start. Who do you guys think will be the starting nickel? Type TY for Tavon Young, type TG for Thomas Graham Jr. Let us know down in the comments section. Let's stay in the secondary. Jaylon Johnson, I got to label him as a loser again. And again, very loose, the word loser during OTAs. I think he's a hell of a player. I fully expect him to start for this team. I think he's going to take the next step. I mostly just think that Matt Eberflus is challenging him and sending him a message and saying, hey, you got to prove it to me in this new staff that you are that guy for this team. And I think that was a message Eberflus sent when Jaylon Johnson got second-team reps this week, and they gave Kindle Vildor first-team reps earlier on in the week. Now, Eberflus did say, don't read too much into this. He's still learning this system. We're still gauging where he's at as a player right now. What I've seen through 2 seasons is a pretty good player. 2 years ago, he was excellent as a rookie, and he was still good last year, gave up a few more plays, but I think that secondary was just such a mess as a whole. Obviously, having Kyle Fuller opposite of him 2 years ago certainly helped him as a rookie transition in. He did not have a reliable corner on the opposite side in his second season, but still 24 pass breakups. I think what Eberflus would like to see from Jaylon Johnson is, 1, become a vocal leader of the secondary, 2, get more interceptions. 1 pick in 2 years. He's been a really good cover guy, but go grab a couple this year. 2-3 picks. I think that would really solidify him as a top corner in the National Football League. Got one more to get to here, but hey, we crossed 48,000 subscribers. We're actually right at it as we film this video. Appreciate you guys. Round of applause to you. We have a goal, though. 50,000 subscribers by training camp. We need 2,000 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button between now and late July. We don't have the exact date yet, but we got about 2 months here to get to 50,000. Let's make it happen. We're going to continue to bring you daily videos here on the Chicago Bears. If you love this channel, if you enjoy this, if you just like the Bears and want news and rumors updates every single day, that's what we're about here at Bears Now. YouTube.com/Bears Now. Subscribe. It is free. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Speaking of Tavon Young, I think he's got to be mentioned as a loser if Thomas Graham is in the mix, because if you're Tavon Young, you're signing with this team thinking you're going to start at nickel, but let's be very clear, and this has been pretty clear from the beginning with the way Eberflus and Poles have talked about, they preach competition. Tavon Young is not simply going to be handed the starting nickel job. He is going to have to go out there and earn the position. Thomas Graham, he's getting reps right now. Tavon Young is not, so Thomas Graham could be closing that gap at this point in time. And that's a good thing, because Tavon Young has an injury history. You at least want to have a guy you feel like is serviceable at that spot. And in the limited snaps last year, we liked what we saw from Thomas Graham Jr. Obviously, small sample size. Tavon Young has been a veteran, but he's also missed a lot of time. So, for now, him not being out there is probably impacting his chances at least a little bit. I don't think it's a huge impact, because training camp will really determine those things, but so far so good for Thomas Graham, and Tavon Young not getting reps, could be a bit of a negative impact for him at this point in time. So let me ask you this one more time, or remind you of this. Share this video on social media, and then we'll recap the Bears winners and losers. Remember, tweet at me, hit the share button, hit Twitter, tweet at me, hashtag Justin Fields, and I'll retweet and like every single person that does that. I want this video to go viral, a lot of people to see it, so please share the video. It helps us out. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Okay, let's recap OTA winners and losers. Technically, it's 5 guys, because Teven Jenkins and Larry Borom, 2 second-year tackles that all signs suggest that they are going to start at left tackle and right tackle, at least at this point in time. I think we'll see when the pads go on if that is the case. If not, they'll go out and sign somebody. Justin Fields, again, getting a lot of good reviews. They're talking about his leadership. That's important. Thomas Graham Jr. sounds like he's had a solid week. Sounds like he's putting the extra work in. He's battling. He wants to compete for that nickel job. Jaylon Johnson, I wouldn't read too much into it, like Matt Eberflus said, but, for the second straight week, it's not like they're gushing about him either. Then Tavon Young, due to Thomas Graham getting those nickel opportunities, listed as a loser as well. One more week of OTAs to go. We will have that all for you guys next week. Before then, we'll have a couple of videos out over the weekend as well. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you soon here on Bears Now.